Hello! I'm going to do a quick video because it's been requested that I show how exactly I use my Filofax to plan for our Disney World trip. So a couple of things just so you know what we were working with in planning. We already had our dates set, so there was no researching to figure out when the best time to go was. And we also already had our hotel set. We decided to visit when my parents were going to be coming because my dad had a conference down in Orlando. And so because of that, we got cheaper rooms, we got free park passes because he's getting ready to retire, and the client wanted to reward him for his years of service. And so we had a lot of things that made it possible for us to go, but it also dictated when we went and where we stayed. So just up front, those are some of the things that we were working with. So I had an entire section of my Filofax that was just designated for Disney planning, because when you go to Disney World, you have to plan months in advance. If you're going to get reservations for restaurants, if you're going to get fast passes, and just to make sure that you have the best plan possible, you want to start probably at least 6 months in advance. So that's what we did. I didn't have much in here for a while, but as it got closer, it got more filled out, and the week of, I was still putting itineraries together. So the first page I had in here was just a remember to pack. Starting 6 months ahead, I have my usual packing list for trips, but this was things that were specific to Disney World, things I wanted to make sure I absolutely had with me. So this was my list. I had just dashes, and then when I packed them, I put crosses onto them. I obviously didn't update it before we left because I did bring my ring sling and my planner. But things like diaper detergent, we do cloth diapers, and I was adamant that I was going to do cloth diapers the entire time we were in Disney World, and I did, but I needed to make sure I brought detergent. Chargers, sun hats. My youngest turned 14 months while we were there, and I always do a monthly picture, so I printed out the sign that I use, and we took the picture with Pirates of the Caribbean. It was a lot of fun. But this was just my list, my running list that I was going for what we needed to pack for Disney World. So then I had my important information, and I added to this over time the hotel reservation, the contact information, our transport from the hotel. We purchased some tickets that we didn't have free passes for or leftover passes from years and years ago. So I had the ticket purchase number to go to will call. All of my important information was right up there in the front after my packing list. So I'll skip over these for right now. These were my daily itineraries. I'm going to show you how I worked backwards to get those. So I had color coding sheets. All of my white sheets were my very important, this is final information. I had dining in blue, and we only went to 2 parks. I have a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old, and so we went to Magic Kingdom and to the Animal Kingdom. Those were really the only 2 parks that they would have interest in. We visited parks for 4 days, and so it was the perfect amount of time. So I used 2 different guidebooks in planning this trip. I would show them to you, but I got them from the library, so I've already returned them. But I used the unofficial guide to Disney, the 2015 edition, and then I used the unofficial guide to Disney World for small children, for traveling with small children, and that was the 2014 edition. So I used those 2, and I started with dining. I wrote down the 2 parks we were going to, the Magic Kingdom and Animal Kingdom, and then based on the recommendations, I did ones that we'd like to go to for lunch and dinner, and then snacks, ones that can't be missed. Same thing for Animal Kingdom. So then when it came time to look at the actual days, I could just fill in the blanks for these are places we want to go, here's where we can get a reservation. I didn't start getting reservations until about 3 months in advance, and by then a lot of things we wanted to go to were already booked. So I managed to get reservations for most my nights. The nights that I didn't ended up working out well, that we left the parks early, went back to the hotel, and just got food there. So definitely, if you want to get reservations everywhere, start at least 6 months in advance and get your reservations at the 6 months in advance for some of these places. But 3 months out, we were still able to get some reservations for where we wanted to go. So this was my dining section, just the breakdown for where we were going each day and where we had reservations. And I would do the restaurant name, the area that it was in, like Liberty Square, Discovery Island, Asia, and then if we had a reservation, the reservation time. So then we get down into the actual parks. So I started the Magic Kingdom list. I just went through the guidebook. I went area by area and wrote down the names of the rides, I get started here, yeah. I wrote down the names of the rides and in my notes on them. Were they things that my kids would like? Was there anything I needed to remember? Did they have a fast pass? Did we need to get a fast pass? Height requirements, all of that sort of information. Went through all the different ones. And from this list, I did the same thing for the Animal Kingdom. All the different areas and notes on the rides, and as well as additional entertainment like parades and different things that pop up around. From then, I was able to make my master list of what are our must-see rides, what are things that are just nice to see. And same thing for the Animal Kingdom, must-see and nice to see. And then for the ones that we had fast passes for, or that we wanted to get fast passes for, I went on to the My Disney Experience website and figured out when we could get our fast passes. Which days did we want to see them? I grouped them based on the areas. So we did all of Fantasyland one day, then we tried to stay in Frontierland and Liberty Square, and then Adventureland and Futureland, or Tomorrowland a different day. So we weren't running all back and forth over the park. So once I grouped them by days, and I got our fast passes, that's where we go back to the daily itineraries. So for each day, I started from 10 o'clock to 6 p.m. We weren't getting early starts. We weren't there right when the park opened, but we were there between about 9 and 10 most days, was when we arrived at the parks. And then we'd leave after dinner. So I filled in first our fast passes. The pages are kind of wrinkled and messy. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit more, because they were in my pockets. That's one great thing about having it in paper and in my planner. I could just pop it out, open the rings, pop it out, and stick the day's itinerary in my pocket, and then I could reference it on the go. So you see here we had a fast pass at 10:30. They're each good for an hour. We had another fast pass and then a final fast pass. And so then I could look back at our list I could fill in our dining for the day, and I could also look back at our list of must-sees and nice-to-sees, which I'd already numbered and broken up by day, and just fill in the blanks. I did that for each day. Sorry, my little one's finishing up his breakfast and getting restless. And then I could have an estimate. It wasn't exact. It wasn't we have to be here at this time, but it was just an estimate of what we'd be doing each day. And it worked perfectly, y'all. And we had, each day we had no more than one ride that we had to really wait in line for. And the longest line that we waited in was 20 minutes. So to go Disney World and go for 4 days and only have to wait an average of 20 minutes per day in line, that's pretty good, because a lot of the rides that we were just flying into had hour and a half waits. So the planning in advance definitely paid off. I got compliments from everyone in my family for the amount of planning that I did, and it didn't take that much time. It was just methodical and going through the guidebooks. So this was my Disney section. I also had in the back here, I was talking to my mom when she gave me the ticket numbers for the free passes, and so I can show you these because they've already been used. You can't take them and do anything with them, or it won't do you any good. You can try, though. It might be fun for you. So these were our ticket numbers. I had my planner out when she called and gave me the numbers that were on the back so I could go ahead and register our fast passes. And then I used this as a journal. So each day I record. I've already torn them off. That's how I'm able to do this in the notepad. Each day I journaled about what we'd seen, what we'd experienced. So I have a record of all of it, what the kids' favorite things were. So I can just pop this out, I can punch them, and then I can just pop this section out. It's already punched. And here I have all of our Disney plans, all of our memories, my written memories, and just what we did for this trip. It's all nice and compact and ready to be archived. So I hope this was helpful. It was a wonderful trip. We're already wondering when we can go back when the kids are a little bit older. But yeah, my Filofax was crucial for my planning purposes. Sure, I could have done it electronically. Sure, I could find, I'm sure there's an app for that, but just being able to write it out, think about things, take it with me in the carpool line so I could just have my guidebook and then be writing down my notes. It was really wonderful. So I hope this was helpful, and thanks for watching. Bye.